Hey guys, how's it going? In this video, I'm going to help you set up Olly such that it is able to generate more human-like responses. The idea behind this video is that you should be able to leverage all the capabilities that we offer in Olly customization options in order to improve the quality of generations that you're having on your end. Now, note that the LLM that you use highly influences the quality of the final generation. And in general, I've noticed that OpenAI and Olly API, Anthropic, these three will generate human-like responses, primarily because these are top large language models. But if you use Olama or Grok for that matter, I've noticed that the quality of the generation is not that good. So if I go to LinkedIn right now, and you can see I have Grok model selected, and this is similar to Olama. So let's go ahead and try it here, and let's just click on congratulate. You can see it says here's a possible comment and then generates the comment inside of double quotes. So it's not what we want. And so the LLM that you use will influence the quality of your final generation. So what do you do in that case, right? Now, while you can customize this to some extent, so if you're using these certain LLMs, there's not much we can do. But if you're using LLMs like Olly API, and let me go ahead and configure this. So go ahead and select Olly API. I'm going to go to the dashboard. I'm going to find my API key, copy it, open Olly again, and then in here, paste the API key. So this is correct, and then click on save. Now when I go back to my LinkedIn, you can see there is a direct improvement on the quality of the generation. So the LLM that you use will highly influence the final quality. Now let's say you want to improve this. How do you do that? This still does sound to some extent AI generated, but let's just go ahead and read this post. So in 2021, we seriously considered hiring international engineers to save burn. We decided against it, and I now understand why outsourcing is mostly a bad idea for startups. If you go ahead and read this post, think about what is the original comment that you would want to add on this post. I was allured by 30 to 50% cost savings to hire engineers abroad. So maybe this is the original comment. This is probably because of the remote ecosystem. In general, though, if you were to put these global engineers in an office-like role, it would likely result in similar results. So I can copy this sample reply, and I can go back to Olly configuration and I can add it here. One of the things that we need to improve, and we will improve over time, is the fact that we need to give some post and some sample replies for that post. That way we have complete understanding of how to reply to specific posts. But this can also increase the costs, primarily because this will involve you sending more data to LLM, which will in fact in return cost you more money. So one of the other things that you can also do is, if you can look at some of the top comments here, the comments that have been liked by a lot of people, maybe you can copy some of those sample comments because they have received that popularity, and then you can add that in the Olly configuration as well. So I'm going to go to the end, and then I'm going to say sample 2, and I'm going to add this, and let's go ahead and save this. So also ensure that you have new tab open, and let's go back to Olly configuration. Now in here you have a couple of different options again, where you can choose the reply tone, the tone intent, and the reply length. So reply tone could be formal in this case. Tone intent could be how you want to end the reply with. Now you can see this is probably because of the remote ecosystem and so on and so forth. So we're basically stating a fact, right? So my reply style, or the way I want to write my replies or end with my comments or replies, is by stating the fact. Second, I can select the length. You can see mine is short up to 150 characters. And then this is something, if you want to enable, you can. Now if we refresh this, all the new settings should have been applied. And then let's go ahead and click on support. So after we made some changes in our backend, and one of the things that we did is that we created this custom button where we basically mentioned, please generate replies aligned with the above format, should share my original thoughts, should focus on adding value, and must not sound robotic. And then I give 2 sample replies here, and this is the output that I get after doing this, right? So if I remove this and I click on personal opinion, you can now see that it's generating the response in first person format. So I appreciate your insights, Gagan. I've also found that investing in small high quality team pays off significantly over time. The efficiency of a cohesive unit is hard to match, especially in the startup phase. Quality truly trumps quantity in the fast-paced environment, which is way better than if I just click here on support. And while this is better than the last one after we made some configurations, if you have certain background that you would want to use, then creating a custom button for it would be ideal. So how you do this is by going into custom personalities or custom buttons, and then create a new button here with the prompt that you'd want to use. Obviously, we will follow the basics of any social media platform. So that will by default be added in the prompt. But on top of that, you can add more details. So someone created a custom prompt that was very, very detailed, and then it started generating very good replies. So they gave some background about their profile, and then they shared some details with respect to their journey, and then some rules with respect to how the response should look like. They also configured it to give 5 responses, meaning now when I click on personal profile, it will generate 5 different response samples. So you can see it went ahead and did that. Now, if you noticed what has happened right now is that we've gone ahead and given some background to the AI, because AI does not know by default how you respond to people as person. So in order to make it sound like you will need to give some input and output to the model. Once you do that, the quality of the responses will improve. If your prompt is detailed with respect to your background, your reply styles, and your rules, and you create a custom button like this, the replies will be way more better. And you can, like I said, generate more than one reply by adding it in the custom button prompt there. And then, if you like certain replies from the 5 that are generated in this case, you can keep that one and remove the other ones. Again, you won't need to do that if you set up the prompt correctly and if you go through the Olly configuration correctly. One of the things that we are working on right now is to improve this brand voice. So if I go to the Olly keys and I click on this button, this is the knowledge button. This is where I can send more details with respect to my brand and myself. Right now, this is not complete and this is not integrated into other vendors, but in the future, we will allow you to submit your custom knowledge such that when you are using LLMs, they will have some background about your profile. And all of this is coming by hearing to you guys. So I appreciate all the feedback that is coming in. But right now, in order to fix the robotic replies bit, you guys will just have to invest some time setting in your reply style, sample replies, or the best thing to do would be to set up a custom button where you can just put the prompt about who you are and then what your story is, what are the rules that you would want to follow, and how you would want the model to respond to you. Once you do that, the responses will automatically start sounding more and more like you. If you folks have more questions in setup, I'm more than happy to do so. I'm actually working on introducing brand voice directly on Olly extension, where you can add some details with respect to your profile, and then the whole customization part will become way more intuitive and simple. This will come out by the end of this month, so stay tuned for that. But otherwise, if you folks have any questions, please feel free to let me know. And thank you so much for using Olly, and I'll see you guys in the next one.